Hello, this is Joe Pearson, the project planner for this application. This is a request for amendments to the Riverpark Specific Plan and Development Agreement. The action of the Planning Commission on these items is a recommendation to the Oxnard City Council. The applicant's requested project, which was reviewed at the original December 16, 2021 Planning Commission meeting, consisted of first, a request for a specific plan amendment to make text and map amendments to the Riverpark specific plan to introduce a new high-density land use designation within planning districts B, C, and D, which would allow residential development of up to 30 to 80 units per acre, as identified in Figure 2B of the specific plan. It would also create a new apartment development type, revise planning area boundaries, update the land use table, and update exhibits for consistency with proposed changes. The new land use designation will be applied in combination with the existing commercial regional land use. This amendment, as originally requested, would allow for the development of up to 1,025 additional residential units under the Riverpark specific plan in exchange for a reduction of up to approximately 562,457 square feet of non-residential development potential in accordance with specified development scenarios as identified in this table, which identifies the various development alternatives, which would be either or choices. Second, a development agreement amendment to allow for a time extension, impact fee modifications, and to define future affordable housing requirements was requested. The Riverpark Development Agreement does not cover the properties or development within the proposed District B. No physical development is proposed with this request. Any future development proposals would be required to comply with the 2030 General Plan, the Riverpark Specific Plan, and applicable development standards. Pursuant to Oxnard City Code Section 2-95, the Planning Commission is an advisory body which provides land use recommendations to the City Council on items such as general plan amendments, specific plans, ordinance amendments, and development agreements. The 702-acre Riverpark Specific Plan site is located in the western portion of Ventura County in the northwestern edge of the city of Oxnard and is bounded by the Ventura Freeway to the south, Vineyard Avenue to the east, Central Road to the north, and the Santa Clara River to the west. The Riverpark Specific Plan area is currently under active development and operation. The project area is surrounded by development including residential, commercial, light industrial, with only the west side being undeveloped with the Santa Clara River. The Riverpark Specific Plan contains multiple general plan designations, including commercial, residential, and public and resource protection. The sites that we will be focusing on in this presentation are within the regional commercial land use designation. The zoning designation is Riverpark Specific Plan. However, within the specific plan, there are multiple land uses as identified in the zoning designation map shown. The Riverpark Specific Plan was adopted by City Council on September 10, 2002, together with the General Plan Amendment, Zone Change, Annexation, Development Agreement, and EIR certification related to the Riverpark Specific Plan approval. The original Riverpark Specific Plan allowed for the phased development of 2,805 dwelling units and 2,485,000 square feet of commercial development. The original Riverpark Specific Plan was developed following the design principles of the New Urbanism and Smart Growth movements, which emphasized the importance of mixed land uses in close proximity, community community scaled for pedestrian walkability, limiting the need for automobile usage, higher density development, and the importance of physical design. Over the years, since its adoption, 6 amendments have been made to the Riverpark Specific Plan. The first was to include regulation for temporary uses. The second was a minor change in the land use designation on a small parcel from open space to commercial. The third was to allow a freeway-oriented pylon sign subject to approval of a Development Design Review Permit, or DDR. The fourth allowed 3 freeway-oriented monument signs subject to approval of a DDR and an electronic digital display panel for the pylon sign subject to a special use permit. The Fifth Amendment increased the maximum number of dwelling units from 2,805 to 3,043 units and reduced the maximum amount of commercial development from 2,485,000 to 2,098,000 square feet. The additional units were to be located in District D of the Riverpark Specific Plan. The last amendment, or Sixth Amendment, to the text of the Riverpark Specific Plan was to allow 2 monument signs in Planning District C, subject to the approval of a DDR. On September 10, 2002, the City Council adopted Ordinance Number 2605, approving the existing development agreement. The Riverpark Development Agreement has been amended on 5 previous occasions. The purpose of these amendments include expanding the properties covered, altering the fees, and other items as identified in the staff report. On December 16, 2021, the Planning Commission considered the 7th Amendment to the Riverpark Specific Plan, the 6th Development Agreement Amendment, and certification of an addendum to the final EIR. After deliberation, the Commission made a motion directing staff to remove potential residential development within District D from the Specific Plan Amendment request and continue the project to a date certain of January 13, 2022. In response, staff has prepared an amended Planning Commission resolution recommending approval of the project to City Council without the residential very high land use designation in District D and removing the additional 412 units associated with District D in maintaining the potential commercial allowed. No changes were requested to the proposed 6th Amendment to the development agreement or the addendum to the final EIR. As revised by the Planning Commission, the project would still allow for an increase in the maximum number of residential units allowed under this Riverpark Specific Plan and potential reduction of commercial square footage as would occur under various development options which have been identified in the table, which has been updated to reflect Planning Commission's request. The amendment would now only allow for a maximum of 613 additional units in exchange for a reduction of only 336,377 square feet of commercial. In addition, the amendment would add a new section outlining the application of development options for residential or commercial development in Riverpark Specific Plan Districts B and C. This map shows the proposed residential properties within Districts B and C in purple. The residential designation on the property within District D has been removed from the land use map as requested. As shown, these properties are located in the commercial areas of the Riverpark Specific Plan and are adjacent to commercial development or other high-density residential uses. In addition to incorporating various changes to accommodate the items previously mentioned. The request still includes adjustments in the distribution of commercial building square footage among the Riverpark specific plan districts, including the reduction of the maximum amount of commercial in districts F, G, I, and J, and a corresponding increase in the commercial square footage of Riverpark specific plan district D. However, as identified in the table notes, these numbers may be modified. No changes were made to this request. The proposal will still add a seventh residential product type called apartments urban, which would be allowed on the properties identified in each zone or each district. The specific plan amendment will provide development standards for the new housing type, including building coverage, building height, open space requirements, parking requirements, setback, and access requirements. Again, no changes were made to this request. The amendment will still provide a maximum number of units per bedroom unit types for the additional residential development. This is to ensure the final mix and population numbers are consistent with the analysis provided in Addendum 15 to the Riverpark Specific Plan Final EIR. These numbers, again, were revised to reflect the reduction in the total number of additional residential units allowed with the removal of District D. To allow for the effective management of off-street and on-street resident and visitor parking associated with the proposed higher density development, a parking management plan will still be required. The parking management plan shall describe parking counts, on-site and curbside parking management, and enforcement practices will be required for all apartment urban projects. This requirement is similar to the requirement for a parking management plan in other districts within the Riverpark specific plan. The purpose of these plans is to identify a series of specific strategies and parking controls to prevent residents and visitors of this development from creating parking issues that affect surrounding land uses and traffic safety. Some important potential components of these plans include limiting the number of cars allowed per unit within residential leases, assigning parking spaces to residents, and enforcing parking on site. The parking management plan may include requirements that they be revised if the plan is shown to be ineffective. The parking management plan may allow shared parking arrangements with adjacent uses or districts. The parking management plan shall be approved by the city traffic engineer. Also, as part of the research conducted for the environmental document, recent census data showed that development of this type of unit generate approximately 1.18 people per bedroom on average. This generally aligns with the parking requirements. So in combination with the parking management plan, parking problems at these locations are not anticipated. However, parking would be looked at on a project-by-project basis. The last key change is a cleanup item to reconfigure the boundary of Riverpark Specific Plan District B to be consistent with the development that has taken place or been entitled in the Riverpark Specific Plan Districts B and C. With the recommended changes to remove District D, the project is still in conformance with the general plan as identified in the original staff report. Riverpark is located within the North Oxnard Transit Enhancement District Urban Village, as defined in the 2030 General Plan. Urban villages are mixed-use areas designed to encourage persons to live near their place of employment and/or support services. The integration of complementary land uses is intended to promote a pedestrian-oriented environment to reduce trips and vehicle miles traveled and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The districts in the Riverpark Specific Plan area that would be modified with the proposed Specific Plan amendment are designated regional commercial in the 2030 General Plan land use map. This designation allows major multi-tenant shopping centers that may include offices, hotels, and other services. It also allows residential, live, work, live, and mixed uses, which are strongly encouraged in these areas. The Riverpark Specific Plan is consistent with the regional commercial land use designation and urban village policies, as the commercial districts as defined in the Riverpark Specific Plan currently allow a mix of commercial and residential uses. The proposed Specific Plan amendment would allow for a change to the residential and commercial uses in Riverpark by decreasing the amount of commercial development and increasing the amount of multifamily residential permitted in the mixed-use areas, mixed-use commercial districts in Riverpark. Currently, there are approximately 650,000 square feet of remaining commercial development potential under the adopted Riverpark Specific Plan. The proposed Specific Plan amendment, as revised, provides an option to allow approximately 300,000 square feet of commercial uses to be constructed, as well as an additional 613 residential units. As such, the proposed Specific Plan amendment would increase the residential population in Riverpark, which would use and support the existing and planned retail commercial development in the Specific Plan area. The housing in districts B and C would still be consistent with the individual sites identified in the newly adopted housing element, as shown in the aerial map from the city's housing element. An environmental consultant under the supervision of the Planning Division has prepared addendum number 15 to the approved final EIR to evaluate potential environmental impacts of the proposed project as originally proposed by the applicant team. Addendum 15 to the final EIR was prepared pursuant to the requirements of the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA. The addendum evaluated each of the development options. The addendum for the project analyzed the changes between the original project and the proposed project options. The revised project, as requested by the Planning Commission, was within the scope of the options analyzed in the addendum. Therefore, no changes are required to the addendum. For all issue areas, the addendum concludes that the project would not result in new or substantially more severe impacts than those identified in the prior EIR. With the incorporation of the previously identified mitigations, lastly, the original mitigations will remain applicable. These mitigations will be applicable to any future projects developed under the specific plan. Based on the information provided in this presentation and associated staff report, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution recommending City Councils approve the amendment to the Riverpark Specific Plan and to remove the residential very high land use from District D of the Riverpark Specific Plan amendment, subject to certain findings and certification of an addendum to the final EIR, and adopt a resolution recommending City Council approve the Sixth Amendment to the development agreement for the Riverpark specific plan, subject to certain findings and the certification of an addendum to the final EIR.